I've seen these type of men, but I didn't know that there was a name for it.
These
you
type
know?
of men.
Well, I'm saying, like, I knew they existed. I just didn't know the name for it. So there's like this, like, ideology, if you will, of like a man who is still in the form, well, physically is in the form of a man, but mentally he has not developed. And so they call that a man-child. And typically what I understand is that a man-child still has the actions, the emotional intelligence, the emotional IQ, so on and so forth, of a child versus what, you know, they would typically have at a particular age. So you 30 operating like a 15-year-old, or you 45 operating like an 18, 25-year-old, you know. And while we're talking about men, let's be fair and say that we certainly know women who also fit the bill. So let's not get in the comments, thumb thug, and talk about, well, what about the women? This ain't about the women. We're talking about men. Tune into the next show on the Patreon, most likely, and then we can bash women.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah, definitely. I'll be there.
Front row seat.
Right. So, all right, I'll just give y'all some information on this. So the accepted definition of a man-child is an adult man, and you say this all the time, you call them males and not men.
Yeah.
An adult man who doesn't behave in a calm, serious, or sensible manner that you would expect for someone of his age. So I guess if I could give an example, if you're a man and say, for instance, your wife doesn't call you when she gets home, and you like, hey, call me when you get home, and for whatever reason, she forgets. Instead of just being like, yo, why didn't you call me? I was worried about you, you know, or just call yourself. You like go off on her because you don't understand how to control your emotions, or you don't understand like how to effectively like interact with your partner, you know. So I think that that's just a very basic example of
Let's use another one.
I mean, go. Feel free, but I just want to give something very basic that probably happens often.
I think one that is a good example for a man-child, which maybe not everybody has seen the movie, but I'm pretty sure we have seen it here. Baby Boy. Where you got Jody, who is basically running around. He's sleeping with multiple women, and he's doing it out of a mental state of uncertainty within himself. He's also still not able to provide for himself. He can't get himself his own place. He can't get himself a job. He can't get himself going, whether it be a self, employment type of thing. So I think a man-child is somebody along those lines, where at a certain point you are not responsible, or you're not able or capable of taking care of yourself and care of others.
But that's like the physical part. So I think, honestly, I think the crux of like the, I guess, explanation or definition of a man-child is lacking a certain level of emotional intelligence.
I agree.
And granted, we associate men with being able to provide for themselves and for their families, but I think that at a minimum, you need like the emotional intelligence to operate as an adult in the world.
Yeah, I mean, I won't disagree with that, but I think it's more than that, because emotional intelligence is just one facet of life. And although it may be,
But it drives everything.
No, it does, and it drives a lot, but I also think that there are a lot of people who are very, very emotionally intelligent, but they're not capable of actually doing certain things. So, for example, I can be emotionally intelligent to know who I am, and emotionally intelligent to know who you are, and to take care and communicate in all respective ways. But I am not intelligent in the aspect of, how do I start a career? I'm not.
Immature?
Yeah, like you could be financially immature, but emotionally intelligent. You can be physically immature, but emotionally intelligent. And I think that there's a lot of things. I think that that's one of them. But I think that it goes, when you talk about a man-child, it goes amongst all of these things. Because there are some men who can get everything, financially and whatnot, but still are emotionally intelligent. And they do act like a man-child. They throw temper tantrums and such like that. But then on the flip end, there's some people who can communicate with the world, but can't actually build a path for themselves.
Right. So I have experience with many a man-child, whether it be
Man-children.
man-children, you know, family members, experiences that my friends or, you know, family members have had with children, whatever,
Man-children.
baby boys in them. I think one of the most important things, one of the things that makes a man-child is their upbringing and the fact that some of them get away with so much because of their mothers. You might have had an older mother that put up with more and allowed you to stay home and allowed you to eat up all her groceries and allowed you to, you know, tear shit up and come and go as you please and not be respectful. And then you communicate with someone else who doesn't tolerate certain things, and the first thing you want to do is throw a fit. The first thing you want to do is act out because you're not getting your way. And I think, or you're just going to completely shut that person off because it's like, after I curse you out, I'm out of here, and you think you're in the right. But the only person that showed you that you were in the right was your mother or your upbringing from home. And I think that's when you become like, just negligent or just inconsiderate of others, and you're not looking to become a man. You're comfortable with being dependent on others. I don't know.
As a child would.
Yeah, it's like a childlike behavior, and you're comfortable, and it's hard for you to express yourself as an adult because no one has forced you to be an adult. So if you go out and you get a job and you lose that job or you can't pay your bills, you know you always can go back home to mom. If you go out and you decide, oh, I'm going to blow all my money on this, I don't have no money to eat, I'm going to go back home and now I can eat at my mom's house and I can spend the night and I can sleep on her couch. And you can always depend on
somebody else.
Yeah. And so
It doesn't have to be your mother. It could be anybody.
It could be anybody. Yeah.
But we know oftentimes.
Yes, exactly. You always feel like you have somebody to go back and depend on. So that stops your growth. And
it's crippling.
Yeah, it's very crippling.
And I think that, like, now to also, let's throw some characteristics. I feel like men, children always make excuses. No, I'm good. I'm just go off the top. I've been speaking and I had a lot of men friends that became men, children, or guy friends that became men, children because we were young.
There's so many nouns.
Right.
Yeah. But they always make excuses and they always they look for the pity and they look to blame. And I feel like people who are adults, when they start trying to play the victim, you automatically need help. Like, whether it be you need to speak about it, whatever the case may be. But, like, specifically speaking about men, I've watched men that will lose everything because they made poor decisions but blame them. They point the finger. Well, you know, if such and such didn't do that, then such and such wouldn't have happened. But really, you allowed such and such in your life. Take some accountability for it, you know? Or you decide to invest your money in such and such, or you trusted such and such, and now you feel that you were taken advantage of. And I think that's what men, children typically do. They want to point the finger instead of delegate some accountability to themselves that will force them to self-reflect. Because a lot of men that are coddled, right, don't self-reflect. So those type of men that are coddled, they don't have to self-reflect because of reasons like Jada listed. They always had somebody to depend on. You know,
they act out and get bare minimum consequences.
You know what? Exactly.
Bare minimum
that's what I want to like.
I was gonna say they don't ever have to pay. They don't ever have to pay the price for their mistakes.
Absolutely.
You know, I saw the movie.
They think they can do that to everybody else.
You saw the movie, but here's the thing too. Sometimes, and it's such an unfair thing, right? Sometimes some people get the benefit of life, which that means they will always be taken care of.
Yeah.
We know.
Oh, I know people like that.
It doesn't matter what happens in their life. They could lose everything, and somehow life has the answer for them. And then those typically are the people who are coddled that turn into kind of like childlike, right? And one of my favorite movies is
Step Brother.
Not that one.
Okay.
That's really funny too.
That shit is
like,
funny.
don't touch my drum set.
Right. You want to make fun sense?
But like the movie, what's it called? Remember the Titans.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there was a pivotal point with Denzel Washington the black coach and the white coach.
Shout out to Denzel, in case you're watching.
Right? Where they had a conversation, and the Caucasian coach was telling the African American coach, right, not to be so hard on your boys. Don't be too hard on them because it's. And he said, which boys are you talking about? Because you're not talking to, I'm hard on, and he started listening to Caucasian players. And he's like, so which ones are you talking about? Listen, if we're talking about the African American boys, life ain't gonna coddle them. Out there is not gonna coddle them. They're not gonna be soft on them in the outside world. So by you being soft on them here, you're only crippling them for when they get there.
Right.
You almost gave me the Denzel. The way you said it, you delivered.
I've been
You
doing
ain't
my
gonna
monologue?
Yeah, you know, I did that today, like,
Yeah, was that a monologue?
Then you gotta hit the left.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You gotta stand You gotta quiver your lip.
Alan been having us in the acting classes.
Yeah, boy. Okay, monologue.
But yeah, so I think that happens a lot in life. Like my grandmother, she coddled one of the kids way more than her other kids.
Was it the baby?
Yes, but first it was the eldest. Well, the second eldest, because it's a whole nother story. My mom has younger siblings that are about a year or half a year older than me. So I call them my cousins, but technically they're my uncles and my aunt.
Uncle cousins.
Yeah,
Cousin uncles.
They're my uncsons.
Uncles.
But they were coddled, right?
I can't.
And the worst part was they used to get bullied in school because they were coddled.
I can see
Not
that.
realizing that it was the reason that they were being coddled.
I could see that.
And then my step grandfather would argue with my grandma all the time, like, stop babying him, stop babying him. And then he would come home, they'll be crying, and I'd be like, well, that's my cousin, but listen, bro, like, you're on your own, you know?
You know what? So I actually love the point that you made about like a certain person who often gets coddled in the world doesn't have to deal with their mistakes because like, oh, their boys will be boys. Boys and men and males, whatever, they get the benefit of, oh, boys will be boys. They're gonna do stupid shit. Just like kids will be kids. Kids are gonna do dumb shit, you know? But I think that it's not as beneficial to boys of color or men of color because you know who's not gonna coddle you? Life, like Rico just said. Life ain't gonna coddle you. Your kids ain't gonna coddle you. Your wife ain't gonna coddle you. The bills.
Like, should there be a certain way to raise your children? Because I don't want my son to be, I don't want to coddle my son too much where he becomes a man-child because I'm obsessed with my baby. So
Yeah, that's what happens.
I want there to be a good enough balance. Also, I'm hard on everybody in my life and hard on myself. I think I am a little hard on him. So I think I won't be a coddler, but at the same time, I love him so much that I think sometimes I'm gonna give him too much love and try to protect him from everything.
You know, I have an 8-year-old in my house. Well, now he's 8, right?
Okay.
And the way I kind of help him, which he doesn't understand that it's going to be beneficial later on in life, is like he's always asking for something that he knows he shouldn't have. Candy, snacks, all day long. He won't finish his food, but then be like, yo, can I get an apple? And I'm like, because it's an apple, yes.
At least it ain't hot Cheetos.
Right.
No, but it'll be that too.
Oh.
So, but I only said the apple because I just had a conversation with him 2 days ago
About the apple.
about this. Yeah, he threw out the food and then went to the refrigerator and grabbed the apple. I was like,
Maybe
what?
because you cooked it.
No, I didn't cook it. But the thing is, what I told him is, like, if you ask him right now, like, how you be successful, he's gonna tell you, because I kind of try to train this. I have to be accountable, reliable, and responsible. These are the 3 things that I make sure he says. We make sure he says almost every day.
Okay.
So whenever he does something wrong, I ask him, is that accountable? I mean, is that responsible? No. If that's not being responsible, is that reliable? No. Are you going to be accountable? Yes. So he apologizes and or tries to do something. So one way that I tried to help him, I said, yo, you have to negotiate for everything, right? If you want candy and you know it's late, and you ask me or you ask your mother, can I get, some candy or can I get a snack? And I say no or she says no, you should ask 2 questions, or one of 2 questions. Why not, and what can I do to get it? Because then if you say, what can I do to get it? I'd be like, you know what? Maybe I'm going to give you a chore, or you have workbooks. Maybe I do one page of your workbook and I'll let you break the rules. You know what I'm saying? So like, what eventually will happen, what I think, as he grows up and grows older, which this is my first time doing it, so I don't know, but as he grows up, he's gonna want things in life, and then he's gonna figure out what he can do to get those things.
Exactly.
Hopefully, they're good gestures and good things, right?
Legal.
But everything
Yeah,
takes
and legal.
work.
You know,
Everything takes work, so it's good that you're
trying to instill
better.
it now,
Yeah.
and it's so hard. And this is also what I wanted to say before, and this might be a little crazy, but I really believe it. Most
Man-child?
men children are products from single mothers. You giving him so much that at the end of the day, when life hits you, because life is going to hit every single soul on this earth,
With a fucking backhand.
and the day that you're not there to hug him, he's going to break and he's going to fold, especially as a minority in this country.
right.
Right? So I think that a lot of men that I grew up with, and I'm a product of a single parent, which I always say is I've watched a lot of other black men, especially where I'm at, or Spanish men where I'm at, or where I was growing up at, have single mothers. And I watched most of them, not all of them, most of them be weak men and be failures in life.
Oh, damn, you had to hit him with the F word?
But
Because what happens is, I think that it's so important to have both people to teach people, because, like I said, my grandmother was coddling my cousin, or uncsin, right? But my step-grandfather was arguing with her about coddling him. So eventually she stopped, and eventually he got to become a man, and he does very well for himself. Matter of fact, he has his own gym in New Jersey. Shout him out. You know what I'm saying?
shout out to his gym.
But like a lot of people don't understand how hard it is to be a man.
I know a man-child, right?
Okay.
Talk
I
about it.
am not going to let anyone know who this person is because
already know
they're
who it is.
very dear to my heart. No,
too.
absolutely not.
I don't know.
I was just like, wait, who is it? Cause shit.
I thought we were friends, Jada.
No. This person is very dear to me, but they definitely were raised by a single mother that actually had good influential men in the household, like twice. So the mother was married once and was in a long-term relationship for the most part before the husband. And but it was just something about the mom. And I think sometimes just the mental health and stability of the parent can affect a person as well, right? Because this person's lived, a very healthy lifestyle. They were active in different after-school activities. We did,
Like all the
trips
perks.
and stuff. Yeah, exactly. And I just think that the mother abandoned them.
Abandoned? How?
Yes, she abandoned her child when he was, let's say 17, 16.
He's not a child at 17, 16, but
I know, but
he's ready for the world.
Today at our age that we're at, he can't figure it the fuck out.
Damn.
He can't.
I think that one thing about being an adult, being a man or whatever, or just I would say being an adult, 'cause it's not a man or woman thing, is the ability to be honest. And,
Come on now.
And have people get on your show, on your program after you've been honest with them. So I think sometimes man children probably don't, they have an issue with being honest.
Because they lack the emotional maturity, to be honest.
Right, but look, if you're...
I think they also lack self-identity. So there's women that are giving you sex while you're being an active adult child. There's women that are giving you whatever you want. There's businesses or whatever that is giving you whatever you want. You're not gonna change because you're still getting all the benefits. There wouldn't be no reason for you to change. So
Absolutely.
that's what happens, and that's why these adults become children, or these adults act like children for so long in their life. But that just made me realize that there are more adult children in this world than we think.
Absolutely.
Because for you to be an adult man and still acting like a child, that really comes down to the simple fact that you have had success with adult women and or business, or same sex, whatever you prefer, and acting like a child. You've been given rewards by all these different areas of your life.
Okay.
So it's just hard.
Do you think that's the reason why? I always say that in our community, there are so many there have been so many absent fathers because they still get what it is that they want from the women that they desire, and they can be absent and it doesn't.
I think it's so much more complex
Yeah,
than that.
You have the ability to walk away. If you can walk away from your child that you sat up there and made and created, you are a man-child because that is your responsibility. You brought that child, that human being, that piece of life into this world, and you are able to walk away from it. And then the other woman child, whoever the fuck that is, she has to now become a woman, no longer a woman child, and take care of this human being that you guys both brought into
And then
this
she
world.
gotta go through her whole phase after 40.
And then does the man ever? That's not the point we're on, though. But does the man
She's a
ever?
temporary.
At what point does the man come out of his man-child behavior? Because obviously having the baby didn't do that. So for the men that are not present in their children's lives, because there's a lot of them, you just go about your goddamn day. You at the sneaker store. You on dates with hoes, and the lady is at the house taking care of your child, not getting no sleep, whatever. Not my situation, but I'm just saying in general.
I would say that.
When does he become a man?
It depends, right?
If that didn't do it, what will?
What can I answer?
I'm stressed out.
The army.
Yeah, right. And that's a whole different children, right? But it depends on what context we're talking about because there's also a very big variable. A lot of men that are able to walk away from children probably lacked one of those parents in their lives. So they can deem it as normal and it can justify it for their emotional part of their, assessment of the situation.
Can we tell them that's not normal and we gotta heal
No,
and do better?
it's not normal at all. But the issue is, and I'm not sticking up for anybody. I think that as a man, if you walk away from your child, you are a man-child,
And a
right?
coward.
And a coward. But I also
And a lame.
And I also think that I would also argue for the stat because the stat has a negative stigma on men.
Baby mamas.
Wait, no, not even that.
Okay.
I would also argue that the stat is actually probably less for men walking away and not being present in the kid's life from the ages of 32 and younger.
What do you mean? Like the
age of
the man was 32 or
the amount of men that abandon their children from the ages of 32 or younger is a lot less than the amount of over that age.
So you think older men walk away from their children more?
I think that prior 20, 30 years ago, it was more normalized.
Back in Papa was a Rolling
Yes.
Stone.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. Well, no, wait a minute now.
I'm not gonna say normalized, but I'm gonna
But
say.
I feel like those men still took care of their home and they took care of their second home too.
And Betty Susan home.
I mean, but I don't want to get into it because I don't have an actual,
Betty Susan.
definitive fact for it. But I was talking on.
So
the
you're just
phone.
saying like the generation before us is so like we'll say boomers
I would say 35 and older.
or Xers?
Typically, because
Gen Z.
me.
Gen X.
well, no.
Gen X.
Gen X.
You think X's?
I think Gen X. I don't know
I
a
don't know the
single
stats.
man. I know a lot of men, children, and some of them, unfortunately, are my best friends, right?
Sorry.
That are all man children with children, but they're still very relevant in their child's lives. I don't.
Well, then they're not completely a man.
You know what I'm saying? No, they're still a man-child because
Do they have multiple children?
they still live with their parent. They're, you know what I'm saying? They still can't keep a job. They still don't have any sort of direction. Yeah, exactly, in their life or path, and they're still trying to find themselves. So to me, that's still a child, right? But yet they're still really relevant in their child's lives. Now, to answer that, all in all, with that being said, I think that if you do leave your child, that it means you are a coward. And as a man, I had a man-child moment because I'm not gonna lie, I'll be straight honest with you, because of the way that my situation happened, it kind of the way my situation happened, my mind for the first second was like, yo, fuck all of this. I don't have to deal with this. This was like against my wishes.
Oh, this is real shit.
Right? So, but when you are a man and not a man-child, you have man friends that would check you when you're wrong. And I had a lot of friends that checked me when I was like, no, hell no, you can't do that. Are you stupid? And I was like, all right, yeah, you know what, you're right. And, things have changed. But when you have man children as your immediate circle friends and you can turn to male children, the problem is you get bad advice. And a lot of people do find a relevancy within their friend group. And that's why it's like an ongoing thing.
I have a question. So I mean, we've talked a lot about the problem. Everybody I'm a solutions-based person. What do we do?
Call her the solutionist.
Oh,
Erin the
She needs to get
solutionist.
certified.
what are certificates? Make me a certificate. Mail them out.
there's multiple different solutions, right? But let's say we start at a younger age. There are some boys that you can identify early on in their life and be like, this is a very independent boy, this is a very dependent boy.
Right. Yeah.
Right? The beautiful thing about both is that the dependent boy, all you have to do is show him examples of who to depend on, or be the example for him for who to depend on, right? So then now he's not going to be following the wrong footsteps or the wrong paths in life that will ultimately, you know, transition him to a man-child. For the dependent boy, the only thing you need to do is point in directions, but you have to allow him to experience it, because he's gonna find a way to experience it or not.
Yeah.
But if you point directions that give solid reasoning, then he'll be good. But that's if you want to start from the core, which is like the birth. A lot of times it's hard because you can't put that burden on a man that early in his age, right? So what ends up happening is,
Which a lot of moms do.
I hope I'm not
They're like, you the man of the house. You
They
7.
should not do.
but
You're 7.
a man, and I put this as one of my captions on Instagram, a stand-up man, they actually have a dictionary, a definition for it, is a man who can stand on his word with good character, right? So if you can stand on your word with good character, if I love, and this is what I get off on in life, when I can sit here and I can tell somebody, yo, I'm gonna do this, and there's not a doubt in that person's mind. That's how you know you're a man, because now your word has so much honesty and respect to it that your word is your bond and people can trust your word. If you are a liar, if you're a person who always wants to get over on people, whether it's man or woman, for money, for whatever self-gratification, but typically you're not really you're not really
Efficient.
No, you're not really fulfilled. You're lying to the whole world, but you're not really fulfilled. But you're getting this money, you're getting these accolades, but you're still a boy because you're uncomfortable with being yourself and revealing who you truly are. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I think a real man-child is. And when it comes down to it, the only way you can do it is by literally sitting down with yourself, asking yourself, who am I? What do I stand for? What do I represent? When I leave this earth, what do I want people to say about me, and how did I act upon that? Yeah. You know, a lot of men children don't do that. They don't care about it. They'll point the finger, they'll blame that, or they'll point the finger and lie about this just to make this facade about themselves. And I hate those type of people. I hate those type of men. I had dudes that would lie to girls and try to play this whole bullshit, charming shit. And I'm like, bro, stop. And I had to cut him off, because at the end of the day, he wasn't a man. He was a boy trying to lie for rewards.
You know what? So Rico, I have a question.
Thank you. Hold up. Thank you, Rico, for clarifying that, because the association about the fiscal or financial association.
But I get what he was
He
trying
does
to
that
say.
with everything.
I know he
get what he was trying to
does.
say.
I know he
Get
always.
your-
It always
go out there and
circles
get your
back to
money.
money.
It's valid, but
Because
it's valid, y'all. It is valid.
When you don't
It
have
is
no
valid.
money, it really makes you think, damn, I ain't shit out here.
You get people that don't really know how to be an adult, and they're influencing everyone around them. They're bringing everybody in. They're having these bad behaviors, and they're making people think that that's okay, and there's nothing okay about that. Or like the guys who get a bunch of money and they're running through women, dogging women, talking to them crazy. They're not even happy with themselves. They're insecure, and you're trying to like be the best version of yourself for them. And they're just somebody who came into money. They're just someone who, I became a rapper. I became an influencer. I became whatever you've become. And now you're making people think that you have more value than you actually have, when really you're just someone who came into money. And the money is not what's going to make you an adult. And when you are influencing people to not be better versions of themselves, but you're influencing people to just act a fool and,
Not be productive.
No integrity, not being
You have no
productive.
integrity. Your word doesn't matter.
They have no identity.
Right, you're not really an influencer.
Well, they have an identity.
Yeah, they do have an identity.
Their money's their identity.
They don't
Your
have
money is your
they don't have a
identity.
true identity. Like they're not.
They have a
like
facade.
a lot of influencers, and I watched this and heard this. Do all these things for likes. They make content for dollar amounts, and they equate their followers to who they are, right? And then what ends up happening is they get lost into this facade of who they had to be. And then you typically see them go throughout life and say, well, that's not the full me. That's not the real me. Then they want to play the victim. And be like, well, you don't know what I am behind closed doors. Well, that's your fault. because you were actually you are childish enough, staying on topic, you're childish enough to be something outside of yourself, which is still not being real, still not being honest and authentic with yourself, thinking that this, whatever that is going to bring you some type of gratification. And the only thing it does is it prolongs your maturity in life. It prolongs your confidence of who you are, what you stand for, and what you represent. And I say this here at 8 at the table, and I'm so glad that, life has blessed me with a platform and a team and a support system where I can make monetary gains, but just being real and being authentic and being genuine. And I think that that's what all these influencers need, because everybody's doing something for a like. You got people like, I ain't gonna say his name, but was risking going to jail by fake robberies and all this stuff just for to go viral, and then lost everything. You put all of this pressure on being something that you're not for somebody to just turn your account off and you be lost in this world. You know what I'm saying?
That is true when you think about it.
Like, so you might as well have been yourself in the beginning.
So many people go crazy.
Y'all, I
Fame is the worst drug known to man.
I actually want to kind of not change the trajectory, but I think that we still gotta focus on solutions, because our solutions is what's gonna help the people. And
You took the words out of my mouth, by the way, though.
And I don't know if a solution is fathers making sure that they're more involved in their sons' lives.
Let's say you don't have kids and you're a man-child.
I mean,
There's some only kids, only.
No, no. I'm like, based on what we know, and we're talking about men, so please don't be in the comments, well, what about women? What I'm saying is that we've given so much time to the problem.
Got you.
I want us to you from your perspective, what do you think you can do? You from your perspective, what do you think you can do? What do we do? And let's just keep this community based. Yeah. What do we do in our community such that we don't continue to produce men children who ultimately are not beneficial to our community, period. Right. Yeah. What is it that we do?
Don't
do we
drink the Kool-Aid.
No. But I think to me it's a training thing. Yeah. I think if you and Rico said this, if you want your son to grow up as a man, you instill man principles into your son. Absolutely. As a mother, you instill man principles from a woman's perspective into your son. You give them responsibilities. You make sure they understand what accountability is, what consequences are, how to critically think, how to not react out of emotion, how to go A to F before you, with a problem before you react. And I think that what people are looking for when we talk about this problem is what concretely, specifically do we do to make sure people don't have these man children?
One thing that I've noticed is that
I guess she thought
that was great.
One thing that I've noticed is it starts early. Behaviors become you at a very young age, and having both parents in my household with my child, I realize what he reacts to and who he runs to when something happens. For example, if he gets hurt, he runs to me. If he wants something, he's not supposed to have, he's gonna go to his dad, And I just realized that having those relationships are very responsible, and I mean very important. And I think that we have to be more responsible for our actions. So if you know that you want to have children, or you know that you're dating someone, we need to take more time to get to know each other and take more time to know exactly what we want from the partner that we're with at the time. All of this fun and game stuff is cool, but wrap it up. If you're gonna be having unprotected sex, it's not gonna be a great outcome, because when you have a child, in order to prevent situations where we have man-child and abusive, and irresponsible men and women running around, we need to make sure we make better decisions when it comes to having a good mother and father in our child's life.
There has been two people in my life that me and my best friend have mentored from a young age. And one of the stories is, he actually hit me up today and told me, he's like, yo, I haven't spoken to you. I really miss you, bro. And he was saying thank you, how me and my best friend, how we helped shaped his life to become a man now that he's in college and he's like a junior in college, almost graduating with a full scholarship at that. And I think what happens is, as a boy, I got lucky for the time that I really needed it is the time I had a stepfather. So my mom, women need to understand that you cannot teach your son how to be a man. You can't. I'm not trying to get into a gender thing.
You don't know.
But you genuinely don't know. And like I say this, I got lucky because at a pivotal age, and I'm gonna say 13 was that age, is when I had a stepfather. Well, he came into my life around 10, but I didn't trust him till 13, right? And from 13 to 17 is when he helped shape shift the man in me. You know what I'm saying? And just like the example that I'm using, he was around 14 when he reached out to my best friend, and they saw each other working out in the gym in the complex, and he said, "Hey, my dad isn't there. I don't have any older brothers. I just really want to talk about women because I don't get it." And that's how the conversation started. And then from there, you know, my best friend was trying to explain something to him and he couldn't get it to him. So he's like, "Yo, can I call my best friend? And you cool with telling him the situation? And we're going to collectively have a conversation to see who can communicate with the most receptive way for you." And since that day, since he was 14 years old and he's 20 years old right now, so 6 years, he's been, like, we call it, under our wing. And in those 6 years, he graduated as the best athlete in his school. He got full scholarship. He's doing well in his academics, and he's on pace to graduate on time. And I think that's a solution.
Community.
As a man, especially if you're a man who's confused about what to do, whether you do have your dad or you don't have your dad, doesn't matter. You ask somebody who you really genuinely think is winning. Ask a man who you think is winning at being a man. You know, and then when you ask a man, you trust that man because you think he's winning. So you trust him to guide you. And you know, as a man, who's winning and who's not.
Do you know that as a boy?
Well, as a boy, you know it too. Because as a boy, you see what you want to emulate. Right? So, you know, and this was another, you know, pivotal moment for me too.
And also, women need to figure out what a man-child looks like, because a lot of y'all just let that shit flow.
Yeah, which I don't want to get into that.
No, we're going to talk about that on the follow-up.
Because there are the reasons why there are children winning.
A lot of women.
And those are the women that I be trying to
You're giving
say,
a cookie
don't
to
let
a bad
these women
dog.
win.
There's groups for young men, right, to help be a man. If you need an out, if you need a representation and or you know, a role model. I feel like that should be something that should be talked about.
Big Brother program.
Yeah, like a Big Brother program. Like, I'm pretty sure, like
100 black men.
You might
That'd be nice.
you might work in this field, so you're very knowledgeable. But I don't know nothing about the field. But I do know that there are women groups. But I never, as a man, felt like I knew that there were man groups. There's no education on that.
That needs to start.
There's a lot of them, actually.
And it needs to be in the inner city.
There are a lot of them that are given where the boys don't attend. A lot of them in urban high schools are taking place. Actually, in the state of New Jersey, we're just going to talk about New Jersey, the Children's System of Care has a ton of free programs, free at no cost to the parent, that kids can participate in. And you could just Google New Jersey Children's System of Care, and you can find a whole bunch of... No, the parent has... And they... Oh, by the way, there are parent resources. Yes, but there are parent resources.
The kids are not going to do the research, though. The parents have to be
My mom
active.
taught in Newark for about, I think, 7 years. And she was breaking down, coming home, breaking down to the point where I had to go to school with her one day. I was in like 8th grade, like, what's going on? And it's so crazy because, when you see it, when you hear it, it's one thing. When you witness it, it's a different thing. And you witness all these kids, you know, specifically minority kids in this area, where I remember vividly there was this boy, he got suspended, and he got suspended for stealing from lunch. And when he was stealing from lunch, they said, why are you stealing food from the cafeteria?
Right.
And he literally said, and my mom broke down, I remember this very vividly. He said, because this is the only time we're gonna eat. My mom hasn't showed up in 3 days. I don't know where she is.
And they suspended him?
Yeah, and he got suspended.
And that's what's messed up.
But here's the thing: a curriculum and a school system, they don't even though they do know, they can't treat every household the same.
Yeah.
So it becomes very hard. But then you got this boy who dad he probably doesn't know. His mom is nowhere near present. She comes and goes in and out the house, and then he's in the 6th, 7th grade. What do you expect? On his own, stealing from school to survive.
Right.
And then it gets to a point that we're like, yo, you know what? We shame these people when they grow up and they're messed up. And it's like, well, what do you expect?
That's why I said